It is the $9 million a year question. Do you want to pay a tax that was supposed to go away?
Next Tuesday, Grand Rapids voters will go to the polls to decide if the temporary tax they approved in 2010 should be extended now to fix the dilapidated roads.
New at 6, 24-hour News 8's Joe LaFurgey takes a closer look at this proposal.
There is not much debate over the condition of roads here in Grand Rapids. They're jarring, rim bending, alignment jolting, well, just a mess. The city says about 60% of the city's streets are in at least poor condition, but they didn't get this way overnight. The state gas tax, which despite higher costs for street repair, hasn't been raised since 1997. It is a major funding source for the city's street fund. Add to that, people are using less gas these days. The solution from City Hall: have you keep paying that income tax sold to voters as temporary in 2010. If you live in the city, you'd continue to pay $2 for every $1,000 of taxable income. If you live outside the city but work in the city limits, you'd continue to pay $1 for every $1,000 of taxable income. As a trade-off, the city would drop the requirement that homeowners pay to maintain the sidewalks in front of their homes. Supporters propose an income tax because it's not just residents who use city streets. But the group organized against the tax request says that's not fair.
Taxation without representation was what this country was founded on. Now politicians are telling us, well, we can tax you, but you can't vote on it. I don't believe in that at all.
But city leaders say there's no way around it. The law says non-residents can't vote in a city election.
Would I have liked to have seen a county-wide solution or a statewide solution for this as opposed to Grand Rapids doing it ourselves? Sure.
How are they going to pay to fix these streets without that tax?
Roads are a state issue. And granted, it's up to our politicians to fight for these tax dollars. We're paying it.
City leaders say even if the state does come up with a road funding solution, it won't be enough to fix Grand Rapids' problems. The Citizens Committee that studied street conditions suggests the city invest about $22 million a year in streets. The income tax would generate just under $10 million annually. The city hopes to collect another $6 million from the state, depending on if and when Lansing works out a new plan to fund roads. Grants and money from the city's general fund would also contribute to the total.
It's time to pay the piper. We need to pay for this locally if we ever want it to get done.
Now remember, there are two questions on Tuesday's ballot. The first will ask you if you want to extend the city income tax to pay for road repairs through the year 2030. The second will ask if you want to drop the surcharge on sidewalk repair. But remember, this only goes into effect if the first question passes. In Grand Rapids, Joe LaFurgey, 24-hour News 8.